Welcome to the Magnificent Mile here in downtown Chicago. Today we're going to explore the architectural wonders that the Magnificent Mile has to offer. I'm Ariel, this is Urbanist. Let me know where you're watching from and let's enter through the Magnificent Mile. Tardiness. Because my original plan was to go all the way up there to that gigantic skyscraper right over here. This is the John Hancock Tower, built in 1970 by Skidmore, Owings, and Merrill. And I was going to go up there. It's 100 floors. It's almost 100 floors. But unfortunately, as I got up there, the Wi-Fi was so slow. So I couldn't go live, which was so awesome. So no cell phone reception up there. So we're starting down below. The Magnificent Mile. This was the original plan. This was the original plan of Wrigley, William Wrigley Jr., who ended up becoming a very gigantic chewing gum mogul, along with a whole host of other things. He ended up building a very beautiful, gorgeous skyscraper, which we're going to see towards the end of the mile, or the beginning of the mile, that he built in an industrial area that really, there was not much here, and it was gritty, lots of pollution probably from industry. This was not a desirable area. But he had visions of grandeur for the city of Chicago, thinking that it could become a great city like Paris. And remember, this is only maybe about 40, 50 years after Paris was fully rebuilt. Lo and behold, he did get his wish. They did not quite build the Grand Boulevard on the scale of Champs-Élysées, but they still built a massive avenue here on Michigan Avenue that ended up hosting a whole variety of different clothing stores, luxury shops, and beautiful buildings. Let's walk around the Mag Mile, as for short. And this building is gorgeous. Hello everyone. Hello Wendy, George, Susie, Ronald, Costi, Laureen. Nice to see you here. Welcome. Welcome Joe, Marianne, Susie, Susu. We got Susu as well. Says, great to see you live. You've been in the past couple days in South Carolina. Oh, cool. Pretty grand to meet, says Janice. Indeed, Janice. Hello, Dustin. Hello, Teresa. Welcome, everyone. DS. Nice to see you here. This broadcast is dedicated to Alan. I was having a nice Negroni at the hotel bar of the Hoxton. Let me cross the street over here. When one of the fellow urbanists who've been watching for a long time by the name of Jackie saw me. Alan has been watching for years. And this is one of his main ways that he's able to really travel around. So huge shout out to Alan. Alan has been watching for many years. I know he doesn't comment too much, but Alan, thank you so much for tuning in. Big warm thanks to your for your niece for saying hello randomly. But Alan has been tuning in. He's a fellow Chicagoan, so I'm actually in his city right now, but I've shown him around the world for the past few years. And sometimes hearing those real life stories of people who watch the show because they can't travel really as easily otherwise is really heartwarming. So I'm so hometown. I'm glad I could show you your home city. So shout out to Alan, round of hearts for Alan and his niece Jackie. All right, let's continue walking around. So that was the skyscraper I was going to show you, but there was no cell phone reception. So let's pop up a few photos. So the interesting thing is also in this building, they made an X pattern here in the exoskeleton of the building, and that's actually the structural foundations of the building. So the building is held up by that X pattern, which is very unique. So this was the view from up there. Today, right now, there. So I got up there around 2:30, and you can see how gorgeous the Chicago skyline looks on a cloudy day like this. Judith says, when was it built? It was built in 1970, designed by Skidmore, Owens, and Merrill. And here I took the ride called the Tilt, where the window actually tilts down. So the window actually tilts, and then you look directly down at street level. Awesome, actually. It's not even terrifying. It was really thrilling. Like my heart was skipping a beat, but it was really thrilling. I couldn't take any videos of it because they don't allow videos nor photos because they sell them. But it was really fun. It tilts enough so you can feel like you're looking directly down to street level below. But I might go to the Sears Tower at some point during this trip and actually do the other type of the glass ledge where you actually can walk and film looking down below. So stay tuned for that. But Super Urbanists will be getting a bonus 360 VR video from the John Hancock Tower. 6-minute walk around. If you want to see in 360 VR every single direction, you can become a patron. We're aiming for 200 patrons by June, so I can show you the best of Europe. June 1st, best of Europe, 200 patrons. We're 96 patrons, so we have only 104 left, but we'll get there. Virginia asking if Alan is a super urbanist. I don't think Alan is a super urbanist. Not only super urbanists get shout outs. I'm giving Alan a shout out because I was really warmed up hearing that story from his niece Jackie. Joe says, nice shirt. Thank you so much, Joe. I appreciate that. Lorraine says, cool, I want to try that. Yeah. So here's the Fourth Presbyterian Church, founded in 1871. Wow. Really beautiful. Some gorgeous architecture really here in Chicago. I'm not too optimistic. I think this is closed. Yeah. It only opens for worship and concerts. Judith says, are we visiting a church yet? You know what? I have not come across too many churches here in Chicago. There's more churches here definitely than Seattle. That's for sure. I will go in. I'm optimistic. I think this time we're gonna bump into a church that's open. Which city in America has the tallest building, Dwayne? Dwayne, the tallest structure I think is in the US, but the tallest building is in New York City. It is the One World Trade Center, but by roof height, it's Central Park Tower, and soon there'll be a new skyscraper built in the very near future that will exceed that as well. But the tallest structure is something else. It's some type of antenna, I think. DSS, I think in Dubai. No, well, that's a great question. Tallest structure in North America tallest building in North America is in New York. Let us know what the tallest structure is. It's some type of antenna, which is crazy tall. The clouds are moving so fast today. Halil from Istanbul. Oh, welcome, Halil. Do remind me how to say hello in Turkish again. I know the Turks also know many Arab words, so salam alaikum to you. Mandy says, how long will you be in Chicago? I'll be here through next Saturday. So there'll be at least 2 more live videos, Thursday and Friday at 3 p.m. Chicago time, 4 p.m. New York City time. So stay tuned. Mira says, dear Ariel, don't you need a bicycle? You always walk long distances. So Mira, thank you. Yes, I always do walk long distances. You know, the first time I actually rode a bicycle was recently in Seattle. I rented one of those electric bikes, and lo and behold, it was a whole lot of fun. Because they go fast, but a lot of fun. So I just might start renting more bicycles now that I'm in cities with bicycle access. Will I do a live video from them? I don't know, maybe. But I am riding bicycles again, which is nice. I gotta rent one in Chicago, see how it is. Here's Jane Byrne Park. So Chicago is a city that's already 220 years old. It started really growing by 1830. But have you wondered why there's not that many buildings that really are older than the 1880s? Why there's no buildings that are prior to the 1840s? Barely, at least in Manhattan. Why in Seattle there's no buildings prior to the 1890s? Well, just like a host of countless American cities throughout the 1800s, Chicago was the victim of a great fire. 1871. According to popular lore, there was an Irish woman by the name of Catherine O'Leary. And this is just a popular legend, it's not real. Catherine O'Leary was milking her cows late at night for some reason, maybe to make an extra buck or two, with one of her helpers. And as the helper's trying to light up the barn so she can milk that cow, she puts the candle down, and the cow kind of freaks out and kicks the candle. That candle goes and sets alight a fire in Mrs. O'Leary's barn. That fire ends up spreading throughout Chicago. And it spreads and spreads and spreads and spreads. It's, for some reason, even crosses the Chicago River. The fire 100,000 people are left homeless. 300 people are dead. But was it really Mrs. O'Leary who kicked whose cow kicked the candle. In 1898, the journalist who reported this so-called event, dare I say it was hearsay, admitted that it was a complete farce. Mrs. O'Leary was indeed a real person. She indeed had a real cow. She indeed had a real barn. But the fire started nearby her house, not because of her cow and not because of her candle. Poor Mrs. O'Leary's reputation was tarnished for years. One of the reasons that this so-called journalist made up this, like Irish people in the least bit. So it was convenient for him to blame it on an Irish person. But nonetheless, the fire did ravage the city. Nonetheless, the buildings that did exist here did disappear. Except a few. And there's one major one that still stands today. But this ties into something creepy. Right now, we are in front of a place that if you were to look up at night, you might see something that will shake you to the bones. This is the water tower, built prior . This water tower was built in 1869, and it marks the establishment of Chicago's second waterworks, although most other buildings and pumping systems were burned, and it stands as a principal memorial of the 1871 Chicago fire. Right here, this building still survives. Right now, it's an art exhibition. Shortly after the fire, a man whose nearby residence was devastated, like many others, 100,000, he ends up coming over here to the water tower that remains intact. It's the highest point he can access in the city in order to look out into what is now the Magnificent Mile, but back then it was a pile of ash, devastation, and broken dreams. So he goes up to the top to investigate the devastation of Chicago. But as he's venturing to the top, he sees a man. Days have already passed from the fire, but this man is covered in soot. Fresh soot. If you don't know what soot is, it's kind of that burnt material. It's black goo from burnt material. It smells like burning flesh. And he's confused. He's like, did he just not take a bath the past few days? Is he still okay? He tries to call out to the man. And as he does, the man goes out the window. And he rushes to the window. And the man is hanged. Hanging by a noose off the water tower. He freaks out, goes downstairs, and the guy who runs the water tower tells him, "Hey, you're not supposed to be here. What are you doing in there?" And he says, "Oh, I just saw another guy in there." And the caretaker for the water tower says, "This has been locked since the fire. There's no one here." This was one of many sightings that would transpire for decades, for more than a century. till recent day of people seeing a man hanging from a noose off the water tower. This usually happens late at night. And when people attempt to take a photograph or attempt to call the police, there's nothing. That phantom disappears. But what happened? And let me mute. Okay, so yeah, so there was someone playing popular music. But who is this phantom? Some people have found out that there was reports of a man during the Great Fire who manned this water tower. And this water tower stopped pumping water. So he couldn't help the populace by putting out the fire using the water from this tower because it stopped working. And as he stood watch over the burning city, he saw the flames encroach closer and closer and closer to him. He was terrified. He thought his days were coming to an end. He thought that if he would stay any longer in the tower, he would be roasted alive. He saw no other choice. Since he couldn't save the city because the water tower failed on him, and since he was surrounded by a ring of fire, there was no way out for him. So this watchtower, the watchman decided to go out, tie a noose, and hang himself. There was a better way to go out than to die roasting alive in a burning blaze. It was all for naught, because this did not burn down. He would have survived if he decided not to take his life too early. And it is said that to this day, that same watchman haunts this water tower. So if you come here at night, perhaps don't look up. Oh my God. Oh, it's just a bird. Okay. Just a bird. So yeah, of course, this is hearsay. It's a legend. So I'm not sure. Though the fire portion is reported to be true history. The rest is all legend. All right, let's continue walking around. How long did it take Chicago to rebuild? That's an excellent question. So, something weird with the Chicago fire. At the same time that the fire was burning up this entire city. 4 simultaneous fires were happening across Michigan in cities that were fairly important for that time. Why? How? Is it coincidence? A lot of people just say it's coincidence. Though in the early 1900s, there were theories purported by a few major writers saying that no, it's rather odd that 5 fires happened simultaneously. One of them in the major city and 4 others in major areas of industry. His theory was that there was a massive meteor that broke up into a bunch of little pieces and ignited all those fires around this area of the Midwest. That has some interesting elements into it because people did report seeing a meteor shower around that time, though that is not proven whatsoever. And people, most people say to this day that, or most writers and historians say to this day that that is not really the case. So how long did it take to rebuild? So only in 20 years, by 1890, went from burnt rubble to building this. This is the Chicago World's Fair, the Columbia Exposition. In only 20 years. To build all that took 2 years. And guess what? Chicago, despite building some of the most beautiful buildings that Americans would see, and it would be a lot of Americans would come here, they destroyed them. They dismantled these buildings brick by brick, or apparently plaster by plaster, stucco by stucco, in order to just have Millennium Park as we have today. Nina says, "What is it? What the heck is contained in the tower?" Wait up, I gotta mute. What the hell is contained in the tower? That's a good question. I actually don't know. I don't know exactly what the. But there are water reservoirs, right? That has the water. I mean, the water is nearby at Lake Michigan. That's the water that Chicagoans still use to this day. What is the purpose of a water tower? For anyone can let us know. Do let us know. I'm very curious. But I assume some type of water goes through that. Kay, thank you so much for 500 stars, and also Ariel sent 200 stars. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. AEP says, any oregano in that bar you were in? The tower is filled with granola and Cheerios. What bar are you referring to? Omar says, yes, there's huge pipes that you can go inside. Go inside the glass-looking theater, says Omar. Oh, interesting, Omar. Is it open? D says, now Ariel is back in this groove. Go ahead, Ariel. I'm glad you enjoyed the story. Thank you so much. Susie says, play Mysteries Abound again. I love being scared. That story had me hanging for dear life, says Joe. No pun intended. I love that joke. Okay, speaking about devastating fires and ghostly apparitions, who wants to have donuts? Yeah, this is like a donut brand here. Let me know. Who wants to have Stan's Donuts? I never tried Stan's Donuts, but I'm curious about Stan's Donuts. It has good reviews on Google reviews, so it's no Dunkin' apparently. So, who wants to try a donut? Let me know. Scott says the tower exists solely for your ghost story backdrop. Indeed, I'm glad they kept it up just for the ghost stories. AAP says that's the joint. Ooh. I never turned down a donut. Well, hopefully the donut is not burnt. Dun dun dun. Let's go inside. And Stan's cold brew. Ooh, on tap. Ooh, I'm excited. Okay. Luna says, "Wow, that was fast." Yeah, good service. Yeah, quick, normal, good service from a donut shop. So yeah, it kind of looks like a fancier Starbucks. I mean, not Starbucks. Looks like a fancier Dunkin' Donuts. The donuts actually look good. Someone just mentioned that there's another famous donut place called Do Right Donuts nearby. Yeah, there's another famous donut shop. But I want to try these. Do Right Donuts has less The reviews are lower than this one. So this is Stan's Donuts right here. Let's try it out. And I also got a nitro cold brew on tap. So it's cool that they have cold brew on tap. They have a variety of cold brews on tap, which is nice. So we got 2 donuts that we're going to try. So we're in for a good meal, a good donut meal. So here is pistachio donuts, and here we have a good chocolate covered donut right over here. Oh, it's Susie's birthday. Everyone, round of hearts for Susie. It's Scottish Susie, right? Round of hearts for Scottish Susie. Oh, thank you so much for tuning in on your birthday. I hope you're enjoying a beautiful birthday today. Wendy says, dunk them both for Susie. I think I will. That's so cool. Susie, happy birthday. That's awesome. We have a few Susies, but Susie is S-U-S-I-E. Clarify which Susie it is. The other Susie sent 500 stars. Thank you so much. DS says, for whatever reason, I didn't think Chicago would be this fun, especially as a New Yorker. Yeah, Chicago's actually kind of fun. It is fun. Carson says, great to see you in Chicago. Stan's is a Chicago classic. The peanut butter banana donut is the best. Ooh, I should have had that. Uh-oh. Luckily, we have an umbrella. It's good news. Jen says, Dunkin' Duna. That's in New York City. Dunkin' Duna is a specialty of New York. I gotta move because it's raining now. But luckily, I have nice cover. There we go. Okay, so Susie, Scottish Susie. Thank you so much, Scottish Susie, for tuning in. Hope you're having a wonderful day, you and Gary. Hope you enjoy your beautiful birthday as it rains over here in Chicago. Okay. All right, bear with me. Are you going back to New York when you leave Chicago, says Mandy. Yes, I'll be going back to New York. Stay tuned. All right, let's first try the pistachio one. This is the pistachio one. Let's try this out before we continue walking on the Royal Mile. Oh, wow. No wonder this place has good reviews. And it's packed right in the center of downtown Chicago, closer to the touristy area, or the even more touristy area. This is really good donut. Really fluffy, great glaze, not overly sweet, which is a mark of a good donut. Has a good pistachio flavor to it. Oh. Oh my God. Wow. You can say this is lighting a fire within my soul right now. My tongue is alit with pleasure. Ooh. Wow. That is amazing. So somehow the donut has the perfect exterior that when you bite into it, it feels like biting into fluffy clouds in the sky. Oh. Beautiful. Let's try the cold brew. Very good nitro. Really well balanced nitro. Has a good texture to it. I'm actually surprised. This is a really good coffee. Wow. I'm surprised because usually brand donut shops don't always do the best coffee. Sometimes they do very bad coffee. But in this case, this is pretty damn good. Public donut mastication, yes, as it rains right here in Chicago. So yes. Hey, how's it going? Hey, good. So as it rains here in Chicago, donut mastication. DS says, how does the coffee here compare to Seattle? I have thus far had one iced coffee yesterday. I'm going to make a short video about this. Stay tuned. That blew me away. No Seattle place blew me away on the extent of that place in Lakeview. And be right back. I gotta mute. Yeah, this city, a lot of people are playing music from their cars. Okay, so yeah, in Seattle, I had a lot of great coffee almost everywhere. It was really, not everywhere, but in coffee shops. There was great coffee in coffee shops all around Seattle. Restaurants, I don't think really had good coffee. I only really ate at like 2 restaurants in Seattle, so my experience wasn't extensive, but I just did not get the vibe that you would get good coffee at restaurants in Seattle. And this is the case usually in the US. You usually don't get good coffee at restaurants, eateries, things that are not coffee shops. Unlike in Ireland or London, or maybe not so much London, but in Ireland, in Italy, in France, you end up getting good coffee almost everywhere. Beyond that, Chicago has really good coffee in its coffee shops. Yeah, I haven't tried too many restaurants though, so I can't tell you. But I have the feeling there's really not good coffee in restaurants. Chocolate old fashioned. Old fashioned is my favorite. I decided to go chocolate this time because it's rare I see a chocolate covered old fashioned. Let's try it out. Oh my God. You know, like, there's a concept of asking for a refund because something is bad. Is there like an opposite concept? Like, I want to go there and, like, the opposite of complain. Not praise. I just want to go there, like, in anger because it's so good. I just want to be like an angry person saying, this is so damn delicious. God damn it, why is it so delicious? That's how it feels. They have no right to be this delicious. The texture is just something else. Almost like al dente version of donuts. If you had an al dente pasta, you'll know what I mean. You got that little bit of bounce back when you bite into it. This is like the al dente version of donut. Somehow they got the texture just perfect for the donut. Really good old-fashioned. So if you can tell, old-fashioned is a bit different from a typical yeast donut. Yeast donut tends to be a bit more airy. Old-fashioned tends to be a bit more cakey. All right, now let's try right here a dip. Is this dunk worthy? Usually hot coffee is better for the dunk. but we're gonna try it with a cold brew. Brian says Swada has really great coffee. Swada, I think, is closed. I tried searching for them. They used to also be in New York City, but I think they're closed. Nina says, better you consume the calories than me. Touche. Touche. Let's do a dunk. Is this donut dunk worthy? Rod says, compliment them. Let's see it. No words. I'm just gonna keep it at that. Wow. Sometimes you just don't need words. Wow. Wow. That's a great donut. I'm truly blown away. I did not think these guys would actually do a good job, but truly amazing donuts. Try Stan's Donuts. I do recommend them. All right, let's continue walking around. Mavis says Swada. Swada is closed, opens at 8 a.m. Monday. Try searching them on Google. They did not pop up. If anyone can let me know, if you're a local Chicagoan, been to Swada before, recently, do let me know. Joe says, are you sure you're not an investor? No, this is not sponsored by Stan's, nor did they give me free donuts or anything. I'm just genuinely blown away by this. This is an excellent American donut. Is your metabolism that good, or are you working out all night, says Queen Bee. There is a point that you can't eat too many donuts. I try to eat the best quality donuts, so it won't really go. I won't pack up the pounds. So I think quality is the number one thing you should look forward to, and the second thing is walk 10 miles, and that's it. You're done. Let's continue walking around. Take the rest to go. But I love the bag. I love that the bag is pink as well. Susie says, also, he never finishes them. Shh, Susie, don't tell anyone. But Susie, that's top secret information. We will omit that comment. No one read Susie's comment on Facebook. Susie's comment on Facebook never existed. So I mentioned when eating donuts, it's good that you walk a lot. And that's why we walked a total 2 blocks in order to earn that donut. Don says, how much did I spend? It was $11.87 I spent on 2 donuts and a small nitro cold. Oh, Ralph Lauren has its own restaurant. In New York City, Ralph Lauren has has his own coffee shop. But here, it's a full-on restaurant. That's cool. Gary says, I heard Ariel can eat what he wants because he has a painting of himself in the attic that gets that gets fat. I gotta mute. Oh no. Roxanne says the restaurant is fabulous. Ooh, cool. That's awesome to hear. So there's a lot of like pumpy music. If I get demonetized, thank you, patrons and viewers, Super Urbanists, for supporting the show. So yeah, Gary, I'm the real life Dorian Gray. That's funny. That is a good premise of a movie. The picture of Ariel Gray. That is a great premise of a movie, Gary. Like an updated version of Dorian Gray, but it's a social commentary on modern day food culture. It's genius. Could even be like a romantic comedy. It's like Shallow Hal, but in reverse. Roxanne, thank you so much for the $5 super chat tonight. Thank you so much, Roxanne. Roxanne left the $5 super chat. Thank you. Mira says, Frank Sinatra used to sing Chicago, my kind of town. Yes. What song is that? Do let me know. What song does Sinatra mention Chicago as his kind of town? Kay says, I love that film, The Picture of Dorian Gray. So yeah, a lot of stores here. Neiman Marcus, Tiffany and Company, Victoria's Secret. Karsten says the song, and Wendy also says that the song is just called Chicago. Oh, cool. Yeah, pretty straightforward. Okay, I can walk around for like 30 more miles, so those are the... all right. Now I'm ready to walk for 30 miles. Let's do this. From north side to south side and back again. Let's go. To Wisconsin. Let's go. Who wants to go on the walk to Wisconsin? Let me know. Dalton says, do you like Chicago or Boston better? You know, that's an excellent question. Boston is charming. Chicago is lively. Yeah, Boston is pretty lively on its own right. That is a tough decision. I really love the charm of Boston. So, while Chicago is amazing, Boston just has an undeniable charm to it. And really, really deep history. A little bit deeper than Chicago does. Ron says, maybe go to Omaha. There's an open invitation. Oh yes, Omaha. We must do Omaha at some point. Susie says, walk to Minnesota. Ah, yeah, Minnesota. That would be a great one. Janet says, I'm nitro fueled. Indeed, I am. The song is called Chicago, says Carlson. Oh, that's amazing. Portillo's has the best hot dogs, says DS. That's what people say, but it is a fast food chain. But after having stands, maybe, just maybe, Portillo's is good. Robert says the South would be cool, going to Mississippi or Alabama. Roll Tide. Roll Tide, Robert. So the Magnificent Mile basically is Chicago's Fifth Avenue or Chicago's Champs-Élysées. Janice says, I heard Savannah is charming. Oh, yeah. So this is an interesting architectural peculiarity of Chicago, because you have these high-rises that look like thrones. They're built in this way where it looks like a giant can sit on them. They did this because of zoning regulations. New York does not have too many of these. Another one we can see, we saw the building earlier had a similar shape as well. That one, that green one right here. Dia says, I think at first glance, if you didn't tell anyone you were in Chicago, people would think you're in New York. Yes, in this particular area, well, actually yesterday as well, yes, a lot of places in Chicago can easily pass off as New York. And cue the sirens in order to add that New York authenticity. AP says that Chicago is New York after a good power wash. Yes. It is. It is AAP. Carlston says it doesn't look like New York once you get away from the loop. Carson, yesterday we visited Lakeview in Wrigleyville. Lakeview definitely feels like Brooklyn. So like New York City, not just Manhattan. So here's the world's largest Starbucks. This is the Starbucks Reserve Roastery in Chicago. It's the largest one. It's a lot of floors. It's 4 floors. It's a mall. Not just a theme park. Not just a coffee shop. It's a mall of coffee. Robert says, go in. Starbucks usually is not too friendly for filming. So you can refer to my video Seattle, where it was easier to film inside. So that's why I usually don't walk into the Reserve Roasteries. But refer to the Seattle one. They almost all look the same. This one just has like 2 extra floors. It's just taller than the other one. That's basically the only difference. Yeah. Oh yeah. It's called a gimbal. It's Amazon.
Oh,
On
wow.
Amazon.
How much
Yeah.
was it, if you don't mind me asking?
It's only a 129.
Nice.
Yeah.
Enjoy.
Have a good day. Why would a coffee house have so many floors, says Adam? So this is a roastery. They roast coffee, meaning they toast the beans in order to be ready to brew. Beyond that, they sell pastries and pizza and a bunch of other things. And it's basically like a theme park. You go there to just enjoy a bunch of things of making coffee. Also, there's a bar as well. Or maybe 2 or 3 bars in this one. Queen Bee says it used to be a Crate and Barrel. Really? That would be a massive Crate and Barrel too. So if people don't know, Crate and Barrel is like a store where they sell like things you can package things in, or like things used to storage. Susie says, Oprah's Harpo Studios used to be around here, but that's long gone. Yeah. So Chicago has been a center of television production. Is among the biggest one outside New York and LA. It probably is the 3rd city of television production. And here a lot of shows were produced. And WGN is based here, and also, yes, I am indeed, yeah.
What's the YouTube channel?
It's Urbanist Exploring Cities.
You're vlogging?
I am indeed, yeah.
Yo, shout out my boys.
What's the best thing in Chicago?
Bucks and five.
What's the best thing in Chicago?
Go to Milwaukee.
Milwaukee.
The bean.
The bean, okay.
bean,
Oh, cool.
yeah.
Awesome.
Arriba la chapiza.
Yeah.
Ah,
Subscribe.
arrivederci passi, pizza,
Subscribe to
okay.
my guy.
Have a good day, guys. So yeah, Chicago used to be the center of Oprah and WGN. Are you near the Route 66 sign? I think Route 66 is a bit further away. I might need to visit it. Stay tuned. We have a Grand Lux Cafe right here. And look at this gorgeous building right here. So one of the guys mentioned that to check out the bean. Oh, the bean, he was referring to a sculpture. Valerie says to Willis Tower. Yeah, I'll be featuring it at some point. Stay tuned. Not today. No. AEP says Union Station is beautiful. Yeah. That's good to hear. Maybe I'll walk in at some point. See. That's strange. That's weird. A guy passed me, asked in Spanish if I'm recording. It seemed like he was smiling, but it was so weird because we're in America. Usually people would not assume that I'm Hispanic automatically and speak in Spanish. Dalton says, will you visit O'Hare Airport? I'm flying out from O'Hare, so I might. Veronique says, I love the architecture of Chicago. Me too. Lots of ambulance. Wow, something happened. Union Station is where Julia Roberts filmed My Best Friend's Wedding. Ah, that's cool. I like that. I still yet have to see that movie. Dia says, I thought you were Jewish when I first started seeing you. Yeah, some people might assume that. Some people have assumed that in the past. Dia says, how would you describe the people of Chicago? Very similar vibes to New York. It's not a city that you kind of... It's very similar in New York. It's all, I haven't really gotten to know the people. It also kind of reminds me a little bit of Seattle. I haven't really gotten to know too many people. There's people out here that are very, very friendly though. There's vibes of New York where people are very kind of loud and warm in that kind of bodacious way. I think is the best way I can put it. Susie says, but you're really Scottish. The Chicago drivers seem very patient. I think so, yeah. Brian says, are you doing any rooftop cocktails this week? Cindy's is good, as is the Virgin Hotel rooftop. Oh, cool. Thank you so much for the recommendation. Wendy says, are you sleepless in Chicago? No, luckily not quite sleepless. Well, you'll see my review of my lodging at the end of the trip. Dia says, I thought you were Jewish until I found out you're a brother. Talking about a fellow Puerto Rican? Indeed. David! You might be referring to... A lot of people here in the U.S. would assume that the name Ariel is Jewish. It's only in Latin American countries where people would assume it's Latin American. And also a lot of African American women have the name Ariel. If you're asking if people are accepting here of different cultures, yeah, Chicago's pretty accepting of different cultures. It's a very diverse city. It's been so it's similar to New York. Here you'll find people pretty accepting of all cultures. Adam says, is my name in the Hebrew Bible? Yeah, Ariel means Lion of God. It's also a name used for a city in Israel. Well, let's check this out. What's down here? This is the Hotel Intercontinental. Shane, thank you so much for the £4.99, $4.50. Thank you so much. Shane, appreciate your super chat. Thank you. Also, here we have more high rises closer to the waterfront. Demi says you're going to NBC Studios. Oh yeah, about to appear on David Letterman. Carlston says Chicago is very diverse but has a lot of history of segregation. That it does. That it does. So yes, Chicago has a very long history, lots of urban planning, public policies of segregation. It's very evident because if you go to the north side of Chicago, the people that you'll see in the north side are very different from the majority of the people you'll see in the south side. And it is quite unfortunate. New York is starting to change in that regard. New York was another city, but Chicago did it a little bit, I think, a little bit more harshly. So hopefully it'll change in Chicago and we start seeing all Americans come together here in a city like Chicago. Ooh, watch out. This is kind of cool. This is so wide open here. Gary says my surname translates from Scottish into English to say Susie Woozy's magic credit card. That's funny. Here. Tim Anderson with a $10 super chat saying nowhere near as much scaffolding here. Would be interesting to know why. Well, the reason New York has scaffolding was because of poor young woman back in the 1970s got hit by debris falling off a building and died a very young premature death. Very sad to hear a woman, I think she was in her late 20s, very sad. And she had a bright future ahead of her. This devastated a lot of New Yorkers, and they lobbied the government in order to pass very strict laws. Thus, New York City forced any building to constantly be repaired. And while that's happening, they have to put up scaffolding. Cheaper to just leave the scaffolding on than to actually do the repairs. Thus, we have scaffolding all around the city because a lot of developers obviously are thinking of the more economical decision of just leaving their buildings be and not repairing it according to very harsh building regulations. Chicago doesn't have that issue. Many other cities don't have that issue. London, Paris doesn't have that issue. Rome, which has buildings that are way older, does not have that issue. Thank you so much for the $10 super chat. This is a beautiful, beautiful building. This reminds me a lot of Rockefeller Center. And this was built way after Rockefeller Center. But the cool thing is, this emulates the flying buttresses of this neo-Gothic skyscraper, the only one in Chicago. This emulates it with their own version of Art Deco or Neo-Art Deco flying buttresses. Sam says your videos never disappoint Ariel. Your personality imbues them with casual, informed, and just fun. Thank you. Thank you, Sam. I appreciate it. This is so cool. I love this building. This is what we need more in our cities. Neo-Art Deco. So I assume the architects were emulating Rockefeller Center, especially considering that's owned by the same company, or they're the same tenants, NBC. NBC is a television station here in America. DS says, what's the second largest city of Illinois? That's a good question. I don't know. What else is in Illinois? Let me know. I don't quite know. I just know about Chicago. That is an excellent question. I rarely hear people talk about Illinois outside of Chicago. There's like a massive racing event as well. So yeah, let me know what else is in Illinois. All right, I found my nice little greenhouse. Let's go inside, have a little coffee. This is so cool. I love this. So let me know which late night talk show host was based in Chicago. There is a Springfield, Illinois, which is reported to be the main inspiration for The Simpsons. Aurora, that word is always a tricky one to pronounce. Aurora is the second largest as Grant, with only a population of 193,000. That is tiny. No wonder it's barely talked about. Wow, 193,000, that's it? Some neighborhoods in Long Island are bigger than that. What? Springer, yeah. That's cool. People don't know Jay Springer, very controversial daytime talk show host, known for having a lot of people prove who's the real baby daddy from a single mother, and them going into screen. Look at this gorgeous building. This is the tallest skyscraper by a female architect. It's just so gorgeous. Ooh. Never seen such a gorgeous building before. Look at those. Oh my God. Got curves. Ooh. I just want to get up close to that building and just touch it. Really just put my hands all around that building. About any building. It doesn't matter who built it, okay? Okay? Who built the building? So there's very bad service here because of I think there's the highway, and there's there's also the trains as well. AEP says you rubbed the building the wrong way. Inspire Light says I'm swimming at that building, right? Inspire Light. Deanne says, I came in here from the other room to see who Ariel was talking about wanting to put his hands on. And he's talking about Skyscraper. Moving on. I mean, that's just one gorgeous, slender looking curvaceous building. I mean, even the backside of that building. Oh, look at the backside of that building. Oh my God. Let's continue moving on. I can sit down and stare at that building all night long. All right, let's continue moving on. Let's go back to the Magnificent Mile. Let's walk to the end of the mile. It's been a long mile. You can dare say it's been 8 miles. My hands are sweaty. Mom's spaghetti. My palms are sweaty. My palms are sweaty. Mom's spaghetti. Let's go back to the Magnificent Mile.
Could be worse.
Ron says, do you need some alone time with that building? I might come in here later at night. Just admire the building from afar, of course. PGH says, wrong Midwestern city for 8 Mile. Yeah, that is indeed Detroit, Michigan. Close by, but different city. Valerie says, that's amazing. Touring the city. Yes. Yes, it is. This, ladies and gentlemen, is the Wrigley building. Yep, the same as the gum. That gum that I chewed and put on the wall in Seattle. Well, this guy made that gum. He bought this building back in the early 1900s when this was an industrial, all industry. Not really a pleasant area to be at. People thought William Wrigley Jr. was a madman for wanting to move all the way over here, especially right next to the dirty, terribly polluted river. But he persisted. He knew that Chicago will one day grow to become a gigantic city. And he was right. He unleashed the Magnificent Mile. Wendy says he also made Tutti Frutti. Did he? Let us know. Wrigley has a bunch of brands for gum and candies. So let me know what else is under the Wrigley's company. I mean, this is another gorgeous building. I mean, Chicago just is such a gorgeous city. So many gorgeous buildings all around. Oh my God, someone's playing Michael Jackson. Oh no. I got mute. Be right back. back far away from the guy playing Michael Jackson. You can still hear him. I don't think you can hear him anymore. PGH, thank you so much for tuning in. Gorgeous city. That was the Magnificent Mile. This is the main area of downtown Chicago. Service here. Okay, bad service here. Yeah, bad service near the waterfront. So here was the site of Fort Dearborn, one of the first major forts here in this area of the Midwest. Thank you everyone so much for tuning in. 360 video of the John Hancock Tower Observatory deck. You can go to patreon.com/urbanist or press that join button on YouTube or press that become a supporter button on Facebook. We've had a lot more patrons join on, and we're going for 200 in order to show you some cool European cities. So stay tuned, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in from Chicago. I'll be back next Thursday and Friday for two last final videos at 3 p.m. Chicago time, 4 p.m. New York City time, 9 p.m. UK, 10 p.m. Western Europe. Thank you so much for tuning in. And cue the sirens. Keep being awesome and always keep on exploring. Have a great day, everyone. Do I have a link to the music? Yes, Spotify. Search Urbanist. That's the artist name on Spotify, iTunes, and Amazon Music. You'll find the music there. That was called Midnight Metropolis. Have a great day, everyone. Bye-bye. Okay, Google, play Chicago by Sufjan Stevens.